You've been listening to Vice President Vance speaking ahead of the second day of Iran peace talks in Switzerland. He is leading the U.S. delegation there. We want to bring in NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley. He's in Tel Aviv. He's got the latest from the region and also reaction here. Matt, of course, a lot of what we just heard there, the questions directed at the vice president really had to do with exactly what is a topic of conversation where you are, which is what is happening between Israel and Lebanon, how that impacts the broader peace talks. The vice president essentially put it down to needing to find this sort of walk a tightrope of sovereignty for Lebanon, but security for Israel, saying that Israel has no territorial intentions, that their intentions are safety only. How is that playing out, what you're seeing there along the border with southern Lebanon?
I mean, this has been a real major issue for the Israeli government and for internal Israeli politics. And you'll notice one of the things that they asked Vice President Vance, or a reporter asked, was, have you been in touch with the Israeli prime minister? And he kind of said, yeah, we are. But we're also in touch with the Saudis and the Qataris, et cetera, throughout the Gulf. So it doesn't sound like that was a particularly convincing answer, that they've had a very close relationship, the Israelis and the Americans, in these negotiations. And that is something that is hitting really hard here in Israel. The realization that the Trump administration hasn't really been advocating for Israel in these negotiations has been a scandal for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Even the military is essentially saying over and over again that we are able to do everything we can. We heard this just again yesterday. The Israeli military saying our hands are not tied. We are not withdrawing. We are staying the course in Lebanon, despite what we're hearing from the United States. And Vance, of course, also mentioned this isn't a deal that's going to be imposed on anyone. Well, here in Israel, it very much is seen as a deal that's being imposed by the Americans on Israeli forces without really any Israeli input at all. So that's going to be very difficult going forward. We've already seen that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and others are willing to really walk right up to the line of breaking the ceasefire, or breaking the ceasefire blatantly, even under pressure from the United States.
Matt, also just put in context the magnitude of this situation, what it means for people who live on either side of that border, Israel or Lebanon, but the broader picture about the fact that this particular disagreement, Hezbollah and Israel, and the fighting that we've seen, it does have the potential to derail this larger peace deal we're talking about.
That's what's really interesting about all of this. And really, one of the things when we talk about how favorable this deal was for Tehran, one of the things that we don't always mention, and it's very important within this region, is the way in which Tehran was able to bundle together Lebanon and this broader ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran. They did that. That was something the Israelis have been resisting really strongly. They don't want to see a formal connection made between Iran and Lebanon, between Hezbollah and Iran. And instead, that's exactly what happened. And it's going to be very hard for the Israelis to unbundle, to decouple those two issues now that they're so closely connected. The Americans, by releasing this memorandum of understanding, has essentially, and this is the view from here in Israel, has essentially recognized that coupling between those two. That means that this potential smaller conflict could have a destructive effect on the broader ceasefire, and it already has.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.